Well, for more on this, Joe Siracusa joins me now from Perth, Australia. He's a professor of political history and diplomacy at Curtin University. Welcome to the programme. Joe, what are you expecting from President Joe Biden's visit on Wednesday?
Good morning, Maria. Well, he's coming to calm Secretary of State Blinken down. Blinken failed for 4 days because he wasn't really pushing that hard message that was to allow the Israelis to do what they want. Maria, Blinken is a very gentle fellow. He's an idealist and a human rights advocate, and he doesn't want 10,000 Palestinian dead Palestinian children on his CV in the future. I'm sure he's had an argument with the president, and the president says, "I'm coming over to go over your homework." I mean, this is as a student of diplomatic history.
So just to be clear, why did Blinken fail exactly? You're saying, I'm using your word here. You use the word Blinken failed.
Yes, Blinken failed to get the Israelis to agree to these to a ceasefire. Blinken very clearly makes a distinction between the Hamas leadership, which had murder on its mind, and the Palestinian people who don't deserve to be murdered in the way it looks now. And he's trying to separate this kind of thing. And he wasn't able to get the support he wanted. Egypt doesn't want all these people on their turf, and he couldn't persuade Qatar or Jordan or anybody else to go along with Biden's original message. Now, Biden is divided between idealists and human rights people on the one hand, and the neocons on the other, who want to follow the Israelis all the way to the end. And the United States is deeply committed to the release of prisoners of war or these hostages. And the idea of offering them up as collateral damage goes right across Blinken's grain. I think there are things going on behind American political circles here that we haven't figured yet. But I'm telling you, this is extraordinary development. The president coming to clean up the mess of the Secretary of State.
And the Secretary of State is the top U.S. diplomat, is he not? So
yeah, and fifth in line to the presidency. He is the president's voice, and no president in their right mind wants to go to a war zone.
So,
go ahead.
U.S. mediation, where do you see it now? What do you see it practically achieving? Because there's so much at stake here, the humanitarian aid, of course, the hostages as well, stopping a ground offensive that we've been hearing about, the possibility of a ground offensive.
Well, I think the Israelis are going to go in hard, and President Biden has already said before he got on the airplane that he thinks that reoccupying Gaza is a bad idea, because then you're going to have to put it back together and all the rest of it. So they're at loggerheads. Those American aircraft carriers are not only designed to keep Israel's enemies at bay, but to remind the Israelis that the Americans have a say in this. And of course, Netanyahu doesn't really give a damn. He's trying to save his reputation. But there is a great disagreement between Israel, between Washington and Jerusalem on what to do next. And I've read the op-ed pieces of very sensitive Israeli soldiers and officers who say that they don't like what's coming next because they don't want to be involved in what looks like mass destruction.
Just on that point, Joe, right now I'm just seeing a quote here from the Israeli military spokesman saying, "We are preparing for the next stage of war. Everyone is talking about a ground operation. It may be something else." What do you read into that?
Well, I think the Israelis could probably grind Gaza into the dust with artillery, air fire, rockets, and the rest of it. Just look at these pictures you're bringing back from Gaza. Maria, there's nothing there. This looks like the Second Chechen War. Looks like Mosul. It looks like Ukraine. I mean, there is nothing there. I mean, these people.
And Joe, why do this in the end? Why do this? Why ground Gaza?
Well, it's the same reason that they had revenge on General Custer's murder in the Dakota Hills. People are very angry. And if this were the equivalent in America, there'd be 30,000 Americans dead with this kind of proportional thing. And they're very angry. And I think Israelis want to lash out. On the other hand, Israelis, a lot of good Israelis that know that this is a bad idea. In fact, it's a very bad idea. And so they're looking for a way out. And, this morning I listened to President Xi and President Putin, President Erdogan, even the general in Egypt. They're starting to sound like statesmen next to what the Americans are supporting. And Biden doesn't want any part of that. Okay. And so sending President Biden to clean up the mess is not a good idea. So, I think it's going to get very interesting.
Joe Siracusa from Curtin University, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and your insights on this.
Thank you.